Great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. This is our 25th session of Knowledge Bites webinar series. We have Mike and Tammie. Mike is from Catamount TV and Tammie is with Greater Northshire Access Television. And the goal of these webinars are to provide basic high-level introduction to programs, resources, and tools for people and organizations that are working on economic and workforce development. It's a basic 20-minute presentation and some time for questions. And the recording, this is recorded and it'll be posted at that link that you see at the bottom of the page. Okay, let me bring up the presentation. Can you guys see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, how about we start at the beginning, huh? All right, take it away.
All right, so thanks for everyone tuning in. And I'm Mike at CAT TV here. We're in Bennington. And I am part of the production team here. And Tammie, if you want to let Tammie introduce yourself.
Reilly, I'm with the Executive Director at Greater Northshire Access Television, which is also called GNAT TV, and we serve the Manchester and surrounding towns.
Great.
And yes, so we serve the southern half of Bennington County, and GNAT serves, well, I shouldn't say Bennington County, yeah, mostly Bennington County. So, I'm seeing Knowledge Bites. I'm not seeing the presentation.
Okay. Hold on.
So I'll just chat while that comes up. So we have CAT TV here. We have 6 full-time employees, and we serve Bennington, North Bennington, Shaftesbury, Pownell, and Woodford. Those are the towns we serve. I know GNAT serves many more than that. I don't know, Tammie, if you want to go through your towns.
Yeah, I can mention that, and then I can go into the history of Access Television.
Oh, please do, yes.
Yeah, while we're getting the presentation up. But so GNAT's service area includes Arlington, Dorset, Londonderry, Manchester, Peru, Rupert, Sandgate, Stratton, Sunderland, Weston, and Winhall. So we have 2 towns that Weston and Londonderry are in, the 2 other, Windham and Windsor counties. So we're kind of a regional access center. And to get into the history, so PEG Access stands for Public Education Government Access, and it was created out of the free speech movement in the 70s and 80s, and then the 1984 Cable Act solidified funding for access centers. Essentially, in layman's term, the federal government said to the cable operators, you can use the public rights of way to build your business, but you need to provide some public good or give back to the public. And they required franchising authorities, which is different in every state, but in Vermont it's a Public Utility Commission, to govern the cable operators, and they require them to provide non-commercial, non-profit local programming and really a space for the ordinary citizen to access the airwaves. Obviously, this is pre-internet, and so a lot has changed in terms of the models for access. But I think it's important to know where we came from and why we exist and the philosophy in which access centers were created. I think the philosophy, even post-internet and post-cable, is still important, and that's to provide a voice for ordinary people, and that still holds true today. We like to refer to ourselves now as community media centers, a holistic way of describing ourselves. And I'll get into Vermont Media Exchange, which we touch on a little bit in the presentation, and I'll turn it over to Mike. But there's 25 community media centers throughout the state of Vermont, and we work really closely together on content sharing and also advocacy issues that to preserve access to Vermont. So we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about BMX a little bit later. Mike, do you have anything to add to my history lesson there?
No, I think that was a great nutshell. I think it's great that this came out from like you said, the free speech movement, and now here we are today, being little community media centers in our towns that hopefully people who are interested in wanting to come in and make a TV show or a studio show or get something out to the community and our community calendars and things like that. So we'll discuss that in just a minute too. I think maybe we'll move on to just quickly going over what our mission and visions are for PEG Community Media Centers.
Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, there we are. Boom. So missions as PEG stations, and this is a kind of GNAT summary, but also I think just a summary of our community media centers as a whole, is we're here to provide public access to media technologies, equipment and training from that equipment, and providing local information for our regional communities. So we're, for us and for GNAT, a staple in the town for coverage of school boards and select board meetings. A lot of people tune in and look forward to coverage of those meetings to know what's going on locally. And then the visions for the future. I know we at CAT TV here are constantly and also updating our mission and vision statements to keep up with new things that are happening. But to facilitate and foster free speech, I think that is the #1 thing that it makes us proud to be community media centers. Is we have free speech for anyone that comes to the media centers to create a show. And some people may not agree with that statement or that vision of that, but that's free speech. And you have the right to come in and make something that's, obviously well within guidelines, but could certainly walk the line in terms of what is going on in the world today. Promote civic and cultural engagement, as I mentioned, civic getting involved with boards in the town, or cultural engagement, the arts, concerts, educational happenings besides board meetings, graduations, festivals, things like that. And of course, to be a community resource for new media technology and training. I know a big thing up in Burlington is they have like a maker space and things like that. So maybe it's new things that are emerging, 3D printing. I know GNAT does some great iPad stop motion animation classes. So just taking advantage of those new, our phones. Everyone practically has a mobile device these days. So how can you take advantage of the camera that's on that to create stuff? So it doesn't matter having a several $1,000 camera or a phone in your pocket. You can create something. So, and as we mentioned earlier, our service areas are there below. And it's just nice to know that I think between CAT TV and GNAT, we pass through about 19,000 homes in Bennington County. So our services are passing through those homes through Comcast and other methods, and it's nice to know that we're reaching quite a good chunk of the population of the county. So I think next up we have, yes, here we go. I'll let Tammie take it over for some.
Sure. So a big part of what we do, in addition to providing people with the tools and the training to create TV and web content, is that we provide information, and that's becoming more and more important in the age that we live in, with lots of information, but maybe some of it not so meaningful. And so we really strive to be a resource for the community to find unfettered information that the community needs to get out. And the way that we do that, and CAT TV as well, we have a community bulletin board that runs in between our programming on our channels. And I believe GNAT, we also put it on our website, and we started adding our bulletin board announcements to our social media pages. So that's a really simple system. People can send an email with basic who, what, when, where, and why, and we push that information out to the public. We also do, and I think, Mike, you can talk about you do a calendar segment, I think, where you get into detail with some of the events that are going on in your community. So it's essentially, community bulletin board / calendar is basic event information, but also public service announcements, health and safety announcements, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We take it a step further. We also do video PSAs and video announcements and video press releases. So when organizations are sending a written press release to, say, a print publication, newspaper, we're encouraging people to think about video and take that written press release and translate it into video content. So we've been helping people create the video PSAs and announcements in the studio. Sometimes they'll bring photos, sometimes bring props, and people can do it anytime, schedule it at any time. We do present a video announcement day once a quarter where we send some publicity out, and we get folks in, and they, like I said, props and photos, and we put together a 30 or 60-second video piece that they can either use on their website or social media or wherever you'd like to. And then we also post it to our channels. And then the third thing is local event coverage, and we have an event request system. People can go online and request event coverage, and if we have the time and the space, then our staff will cover it. Sometimes we get volunteers to cover it if we're not available, and then we also train people how to cover their own events. And I know CAT TV, you guys do a lot of live events. Like you've got the Battle Day Parade coming up in August. So I don't know if you want to talk about any of that, Mike.
Sure, yeah.
Job on live event coverage.
Yeah, we do a couple live events through the year. The big ones, our Mayfest town kind of, the Main Street closes down. We have little interviews all day on Mayfest, which is in May, of course. And then our next one, we do the high school graduation, which we do live, which is great for the community, people who can't make it but want to see the graduation. Then I think our last big thing is, of course, Bennington Battle Day. You know, it's a big holiday for the state, and of course, being here in Bennington, it's more important. So we provide live coverage of the parade, and we simulcast that with GNAT so that people up in the Northshire can see the parade as well. So we do a lot of live on our channels, on our website, and also on Facebook. Those are simultaneous offerings for those live events. And yeah, just quickly to touch back on the community calendar, about maybe a year or so ago, we wanted to spice up our announcements, and we thought what we could do is every week we do a community calendar. So we film it in our studio. We have a TV that cycles through. We use Prezi. It's kind of like a PowerPoint on steroids, kind of nice animations, things you can do with that. We input the announcements there, and one of the staff members can get in front of the camera, and we go through the announcements and kind of add a little personality to what's happening in the town. And then we share that as well on Facebook, on our channels, and that happens every week. So exciting. All right. Sharing is caring. Tammie,
yes.
I think you know more about VMX, so I'll let you go for it.
Sure. So both CAT TV and GNAT we're part of a statewide network called the Vermont Access Network. And probably about 10 years ago now, the Vermont Access Network got together some resources to develop what's called the Vermont Media Exchange. And I think this may be one of the great takeaways of this webinar today. The Vermont Media Exchange is a file sharing system that all 25 Vermont Access Centers participate in, and it's a way for us to upload and download content. So, for example, in Burlington tomorrow, I believe there's a gubernatorial forum or debate, and one of the Access Centers is producing that. They can then post it to the Vermont Media Exchange, where other Access Centers can download it and air it on their channel. So it's a great way to share content that's of statewide interest. We produce some content that we push up to VMX and other stations around the state play it, so they can get a glimpse as to what's going on in our communities, what's going on with our organization. So it's a great system, and we're really working every day to improve it and make people aware of it, because we can really leverage whatever content you produce with CAT TV or GNAT, we can leverage it if there's statewide appeal with the other access centers. So it's a service that we're proud of. We're working on it every day, but it's a great value to the content creators, the local content creators.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. So, how can you get involved? Well, it really is easy and fun. You can tell I made this slides up. I'm a very peppy individual. So, ways to get involved. You can take a class, and classes vary from learning cameras, learning studio cameras and courses there, learning how to make your own TV show, editing. I know GNAT offers a further step with iPad and a variety of other things. I'll let Tammie divulge into that. And you can become a content creator. So going out, filming what is interest to you. You want to make a series, an art show, or you want to film concerts, or you want to do a talk show in the studio. The sky's the limit on the ideas, and we'd love to hear them. So signing up to be a content creator is a way to do that with CAT TV or GNAT. And again, and then like we just said with VMX, leveraging that to share it maybe to GNAT or vice versa to CAT TV or even beyond into the rest of the states. And if you don't feel like getting in front of the camera or that's too much for you, there's also other ways to support community media. And we're always looking for volunteers and other ways to get involved. And you can certainly get in touch with us here at CAT TV or GNAT, depending on where you live. I'll let Tammie talk about the other courses she offers. I know you guys offer some other great ones. So.
Yeah, so we are really trying to listen to the community and provide services that the community wants and is interested in. We offer a field production course, a studio production, iPad animation. We also have a couple of GoPros that we loan out to people, and then we do the editing class. A couple times a year, we also offer a photo enhancement class. It's sort of outside the realm of TV production, but it's something that our community has said they're interested in, so we do offer that by appointment and a couple times a year. The other thing to note, I think, and I think I can speak for you folks down at CAT TV, Mike, is that we're always looking for content partners, organizations that want to produce community content but maybe can't take on the whole production piece of it. So we get together with other organizations to produce community content that has been asked for by the community. And a couple examples that we have a partnership with the Green Mountain Academy for Lifelong Learning. They do a lecture series in the evening, and we film the lectures, and we make them available on our channels, and then also Green Mountain Academy can utilize them on their website. Another content partnership example is a partnership that we have with the Manchester Historical Society. They bring the content and the story, and we do the technical production, and it's a great way for organizations to partner together to get the content out that the community is interested in. And I know CAT TV, you guys have been working with the Chamber on the Made in the Shires show.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to throw that out there to let people know that you can do it all on your own. You can take advantage of some of the free services, or you can take a step further and approach us with content partnership ideas.
Absolutely. Well said. Yep.
Okay. The next slide is sort of how you can watch us. And
yep.
We are noticing that we're getting a lot of traffic on our website in addition to our channels. Our channels in most towns are channels 15, 16, and 17. In Londonderry and West Bend, they're channels 8 and 10. In Stratton, they're 8, 10, and 18. So it depends on what town you're in as to what cable channel you can tune into. But you can also find us, of course, on our website, which is gnat-tv.org.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys have different channels for each town, so it's very. But yeah, like Tammie said, 15, 16, 17. That's here in Bennington as well. 15 is public, 16 is education, and 17 is government. So, yeah, not so different for the Stratton area and things like that. But So yeah, obviously websites are becoming more key, so you can watch pre-recorded or live content, I believe, on both of our websites, and archive as well. And then obviously in this day and age of social media, it's kind of important to have that social presence. So we keep our Facebook pages alive and well with plenty of content, whether it's just uploaded and pre-recorded stuff or live. We notice a lot of people really enjoy watching the Bennington Select Board on Facebook. They can tune in from literally anywhere. I had a gentleman last night watching from California, so it was kind of nice that you can be away from home but still tune into what's happening locally. And then, YouTube is great for, at least here at CAT TV. I know GNAT uses it as well. Not only is it an archive, but you're going to have a whole library of community events, PSAs, concerts, meetings that goes years back. So you can find it anywhere 24/7. YouTube, our websites, our Facebook pages. So just try and be as active and available for anybody out there. So.
I think on that note, back in the old days, before the internet, people would produce a piece of content. It would go on the channels. What we have available to us now through social media and our websites is that whatever piece of content is produced, it's now digitally portable, and people can use it on their own websites, and they can share it and really share the content exponentially. And so that's kind of something important to note, because you can really get the content out there if you put the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just local content anymore, and anybody can take an interest in Bennington, perhaps, or Manchester.
So I think we're here for you, and probably the website or a phone call is the best way to get in touch with both organizations.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Anything else you guys would love to cover while we have you on?
I'll just say it's fun to work in community media. You get a lot of people who come through the door or see you in the community and really enjoy the local aspect of watching CAT TV or watching GNAT. And I think that's really great that we're here to offer a valuable service to our communities for people who come and say, I never knew that concert was happening, but thank you for filming that. I really enjoyed watching that. Or, there's so many things going on, and there's only so many things we can cover, but we try and cover as much of it as we can. And that way there's a record of it that, people can enjoy for years to come.
I think that's an important point. We also produce something called the News Project, and we also do youth programs with the schools, but the big picture reason why it matters what we do is not only are we sort of a digital documentarian of our community that in 50 or 100 years, we're the folks that are collecting the lives of our people and the culture. So I think that's an important point. And in addition to that is we are the only folks that are really covering our local community. The commercial television is not covering covering our communities unless something horrific happens. So that's an important why it matters what we do. So I'll leave it at that.
Great. I will tell you that before starting work here in southern Vermont, I don't know if in all the other places I've lived, I don't know if I knew about community access TV. I'm sure the places I lived had it, looking back, but it's been a huge resource for us here at BDCC, having community access to community access TV, being able to record certain things that we put on or share. Tammie, you were talking about like the video press releases. It's just another way to get the word out. And I think it seems that community access TV is fairly popular amongst people, at least here in southern Vermont. I know a lot of people that, maybe not tune in on their TV, but definitely check out, what's posted to YouTube or on Facebook or on the website. So it's definitely a really awesome resource we've experienced.
Thank you,
Andrew, do you have any questions?
No, I think you guys pretty much covered it all. Really good presentation.
I like the style of that presentation, too. Just to finish up here, our next Knowledge Bite webinar is on the Vermont Planning Advanced Program, which is a financial program for municipalities with drinking water and or wastewater needs. And an update for the Knowledge Bites series is that we will be transitioning to just once a month webinars instead of twice a month. So we'll have webinars scheduled once a month, and then, you know, as needed, we can add some more to the schedule. So just to keep that in mind. And if you do have any suggestions of something you'd like to learn more about, please feel free to contact me, and I would love to get one scheduled. So thanks, Mike and Tammie. We really appreciate you being here with us today, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.